Good morning, family. As many prepare to celebrate the birthday of the 16th President of the United States tomorrow, February 12th, I plan to commemorate his memory in a different way this morning. There's always been mixed signals to me about Abraham Lincoln. And as many of us know him as Honest Abe, I'm not here to debate that. I believe he was totally honest. I believe that he was unapologetically honest. And we're going to talk about that today on Freedom and Media. The 16th President of the United States, the one who is most famously known for freeing the slaves. Let's go.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
We are coming to get our check.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
In my mind.
can kill all the black folks you want, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now, the war is going to be here, but we're going to be free. Now, you kill you want to, but we kill too.
Good morning once again, fam. I had to let the intro rock out, just doing a little bit of housekeeping in here, trying to make sure everything is right, making sure the audio is tight. It is Saturday morning, just after 11 o'clock. Tried to start as close to my stated time, trying to get better with that, I want to kick some things off here in the middle part of the month. I'm not going to wait till March, where we didn't get off in January the way I wanted to. I've got to get it going here in February. Just because of time is of the essence. And today we're going to talk about Abraham Lincoln. Tomorrow it is his birthday, and I know that people celebrate him in a different way. I am going to commemorate him today. I am not going to celebrate, but I am going to commemorate. There is a difference. But I have to bring myself to at least the point of understanding who Abraham Lincoln is before I could really articulate it. And I understand that he was the president, the sitting president, where the Emancipation Proclamation came about, where the national legislative board, body abolished slavery. I get that. I get why he gets credit for doing what he did, but I also get what he said and what he did while he was doing what he did with emancipation and whatnot. I'm not here to bash Abraham Lincoln, because I think he was just who he was. I think his whole format as an attorney and as a legislator, as a president, I think it all flowed within the time. So I don't really look at him as being different than anybody else at that time. I know there were some people that stood out, and a lot of people might look at Abraham Lincoln as a different person than the others, but he was really no different to me. I know there's been debates on whether he owned slaves, this, that, and the other. I'm not here to talk about any of that today. That's not my focus. My main focus is really to speak on what he spoke on. It's always easy for people to say something about you and say what you said, but if they take one thing out of context, the meaning can totally change. And what I don't want to do today is I don't want to take anything out of context what Abraham Lincoln said. I want to speak exactly what he spoke. And I have text dialogue that we will be able to go through, breakdown of what he actually said. And for those of you who have visited Washington, D.C., who have visited presidential memorials and things like that, you're probably going to see some things that you haven't seen at those memorials, because they're not very becoming of Abe Lincoln's legacy. I'm not here to break ground. These are things that people can pick up just as easily as I picked them up. I screenshot them, cropped them, and I'm going to bring them up on my stream, but I'm not doing anything any differently than anybody else could have done out there. So peace to the family that's going to watch on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and catch the replay. Give me one quick second, just making sure this. Oh, that's nothing. Okay. So what's happening, Free? Just understanding who Abe Lincoln was, like I said, he was known as Honest Abe. He was known as somebody that, would give you his opinion to the point where he was very straightforward in his thinking. And I think probably he was looked at as a fair man to most, American freedmen included, or prior to the Emancipation Proclamation, enslaved individuals. He was probably looked at as a fair man. I remember hearing my grandmothers say, he's a good white man. He was probably looked at as a good white man by Black people. And I'm not here to debate that he wasn't good for us at the time, or even good to us at the time. I'm just here to speak on what he spoke on. So that's where I have to stand. This all comes from me, and it all comes from my mind. I'm not going to ever try to be more than I am. We get that a lot out here. It's that day. Social media has made everybody a wannabe star. And I've never, ever wanted to be a star, whether I'm broadcasting visually, audibly, nothing. It's not about celebrity to me. It's about getting the message across. So if I get my message across, that's the most important thing. I appreciate everybody who actually supports Freedman Media. Not a lot of monetary support because I don't go out there looking for it. But as we move towards doing different things for the remainder of this month, starting in the next month, we will talk about monies. Okay. We will talk about financing. We'll talk about different things because it's come to the point where there are some other projects that I want assistance with the family. And I know I have fruitful people out here, and people want to have this message to continue. So we will make hay with that when those times are right. As we cross these political battle lines, it costs to do some of the things that we do when we move about. I'm not here as we continue to work on setting up a nonprofit. I'm not here to get into some type of nonprofit where we can sling T-shirts and hats and visors and church fans and all that stuff just to say we're out here doing something. You've got people who want to be activists, but they're really actorvists. They only come out whether it's Black brutalization, Black murder, some type of detriment dealing with our people. I'm not driven by that. I'm driven by results. And obviously I'm driven by our success. I can't speak on a downtrodden life. I can't do that. And for those who can, I understand. I can't speak on years and years of incarceration, years and years of being a drug addict, years and years of being impoverished. I can't speak on those things. I know those things, but I can't speak on them personally because I never lived them. Nor do I want to be lauded for something that I did in the past, whether I'm some type of miscreant and I've shot and killed and raped and did whatever, see, a lot of people want to be lauded for their failures in life, and I'm not going to be lauded for something that I did wrong. I don't want to be lauded for something that I did wrong. I don't even want to be lauded for redeeming myself, because first and foremost, I shouldn't have did what I did wrong. But some people want to be lauded for their wrongdoings, and I'm not going to laud anyone and don't want to be lauded for my wrongdoings. It's just not something that is in me. But some people, they want trophies, for doing dirt and maybe redeeming themselves in some type of way. No, once you do dirt, you dirty. Okay. You what you might do is you might be able to tell people, hey, don't go this way, but you don't get to not be dirty. So that's where people have it mistaken about me, because anybody's mission is their mission for a purpose. You got a purpose out here and that's what you do your thing. Don't talk against what I do, because I'm not talking against what you do. I may talk against you personally because I don't believe in the self-righteousness out of here that's really roaming the streets. Some of these people have done minimal for their community, but they want maximal success rates, or they want pats on the back for things that they haven't done, or things that they say they haven't done, they want rewarding for. I'm sorry, I'm not that guy. I don't suck nobody's socks out here, and I never will. So what I do and what I've done speaks for itself. If you have a question, just ask. I'll tell you what I've done. And as I've told many people, you might not remember some of the things that I did because you were on drugs. Your family was impoverished. You were out the paint. But for the people that were impoverished and I did help out, I appreciate them still hanging around. I've got people, I didn't even realize that people watch me, that I knew them when they were younger, because I am 53 now. I knew them when I was younger because they were way younger than me. And they talk about how I dealt with their mothers or their fathers or their grandmothers. And that kind of that kind of makes me feel away because I didn't really know who they were. But as they grew up, they obviously saw that I was who I was. And I'm never going to give myself the pat on the back to say I'm solid, but I know I'm solid. Obviously, if you still messing with me 30 some odd years later, for those who are just out here and they want rewards and they want accolades and they want people to speak up on them, show your stats. If you can show your stats, then that's when you'll get your rewards. That's when you'll get your accolades. But don't try to just say, just because I'm here, just because I'm old, you should give me rewards. You should give me accolades. It doesn't work like that. And in this social media space, people can get on and get mic'd up and get talking and this, that, and the other, and they ain't saying nothing. And that's a problem because there's a lot of people out here really not saying anything. I get it because that's what social media has done. Social media has made people locally famous. And they don't really care to be nationally famous. They'd rather be locally famous because national stardom would probably kill them. They don't understand about that. But even for what they're trying to be famous for, they don't have the ticket for it to show, hey, I did this, I did that, you know. But this isn't about fame. It's not about fortune. It's about pushing your message. And if your message is bullshit, I'm gonna call you on it. What's up, brother Tyrone? So we're just here today to talk about Abe Lincoln. But before I do that, I literally need to put this in play. Give me one quick second. I'm going to take something down because I asked to actually put this up on my stream. So I'm going to really take a quick stop, remove that because I've got maximum amount of slides here. Let me see. Let me put this. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up. And I want to read what this post was. This was something that I actually seen on Facebook. It's in our local community. A young lady, I believe she's actually the bus driver. I believe she's actually the bus driver. So give me one quick second. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go there. And I want to bring this up and read this post because I think it's important, and it's not just important for our area. I think it's important for everybody who has kids that get on a bus every day. And she said, why are parents continually putting their coughing, snotty nose, runny kids on the bus? If they don't feel good and I'm miserable at home, what makes them think that they'll be okay to go to school? Not to mention they're exposing everybody else to whatever they have, and it'll keep spreading and keep spreading. Keep your sick kids home. The nerve. No hats, scarves, gloves, snow pants, boots. What gets me is the district offered every kid winter wear, coats, hats, and boots. Now, this is really what caught me because I know that the Ypsilanti School District has financial issues, but because they were able to offer up the monies for coats and hats and boots for those who needed them, I have to wonder, why aren't the kids wearing them? Did the parents not secure these items from the district or vouchers or gift cards or whatever they were to go get these things? Or did they actually get them and then are still not putting them on? This is what got me with the post. Where are these items? They're not wearing them. Please be considerate of others. Some may have underlying health conditions and could get deathly ill being exposed. Now, we obviously know what we're coming out of with the pandemic. We obviously know that. So where this individual is coming from, it's obviously out of love, first and foremost, because what she does is she makes sure that your kids get back and forth to school and home. But it can get to a point where you may have bus drivers who have underlying health conditions. You may have bus drivers who have small children or other people at their home where they could possibly carry what your kid is carrying back to them. I understand the natural hazards of the job, but if you are sending a sick child to school, knowingly sending a sick child to school, you're wrong. And I get some parents don't have the luxury of having a babysitter and things like that, but that's when you got to call in the village. That's when you got to call in your family. You got to call in your family and say, hey, he can't go to school today. She can't go to school today. What can you do me for? Can you do me half the day? And then I get over to the other relative or other friend or whatever. But you can't be in a situation where you're sending your kid out sick and they're infecting other kids and infecting the teachers and the administrators. But then first and foremost, one of the first people they see in the morning is the bus driver. Other than the kids that they're waiting at the bus stop with, they're going to see the bus driver. And the bus driver sees how many kids, before their morning route is done, or how many kids before their afternoon route is done. So you've got to be able to take care of the person that's taking care of your kid and getting them to and from school. So do your due diligence as parents and put the hats on, put the scarves on, put the gloves on, the snow pants and the boots on. But first and foremost, take their temperature before they leave the house. And if they snotty and they running all the way down their shirt, you probably don't want to send them to school if at all possible. I get the understanding that everybody doesn't have a babysitter. Everybody doesn't have the luxury of having that grandparent or aunt, uncle, or that secondary parent available to be able to stay home with a sick kid. I get that. I'm not living in a world where I don't understand any of these things. I was a single parent on my own for many a years. And it was just me. And that I protected myself more than I protected maybe my own kid, probably because I knew I couldn't miss work. I knew I couldn't miss work. And if my kid miss school, where was she going to be? So I get this. I totally get it. But I definitely wanted to send a shout out to Vicky for giving me the authorization to put the post up. I didn't just strip it and put it up. I actually asked to make sure that it was okay because it was her personal post, but she had put it out there publicly. I screenshot it, I cropped it, and I threw it up. But this is something that we definitely have to do when we're talking about bus drivers and everything like that. People that your kids come in contact with, we've got to protect them because they're protecting our children. So definitely shout out to Vicky. And hopefully we do better as parents moving forward, putting our kids in play Monday through Friday. But I want to get to Abe Lincoln because that's what we're here for. This scenario is part of the thumbnail that I had when I first opened up the cut. President Lincoln said, without the military help of the Black freedmen, the war against the South could not have been won. Now, that's one of probably his most famous quotes. We know this. We know this. Without the Black freedmen, preferably the American freedmen, because that's what we are. We're Americans first. Without the American freedmen, the war against the South could not have been won. And I don't think very many people debate that. I know that there's some people down south that might have something to say about it, but it just ain't in my mind. You know what I'm saying? This is something that's real. This is something that's real. We know that had it not been for the Black soldiers, the South could not have been won. It could not. That's just that. So we go from there all the way to 2023 and things that have happened and things that continue to happen to Black Americans, American freedmen, descendants of enslaved individuals. And it just lets you know there's really been no thanks for what we've done in this country. And we're not talking about individual accomplishments, individual accesses. There's never been a true national reckoning for what we've done on this soil. So it won't all start here today, but we'll at least be enlightened about the man and somewhat the myth of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, whose birthday is tomorrow. And it's actually my cousin's birthday, who passed away a few years ago. It's his birthday, Kevin's birthday. Rest in power, brother. But I want to talk on what Abe talked on. And if you give me a second here, we'll bring up this first slide because it's very important as I go through these slides here. I want to make sure that I am ultra clear. Abraham Lincoln said, "I am not, nor have ever been, in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of white and black races. Now, I know for a lot of people, you've seen these things and you've heard these things. But for many who really haven't heard them, they need to understand the person that freed the slaves through the Emancipation Proclamation said this: I am not, nor have ever been, in any way favor of bringing about in any way the social. So he didn't even want us in society together, and political equality, which meant he didn't want us voting. He didn't want us to have a say in the political process like white Americans. This is what he said. This is not something that I made up. These are the words of Abraham Lincoln. And when you think about that, you're like, well, why did he free the slaves? Well, it was a political move. It was a political move. And there were things that when the Emancipation Proclamation was being written, he tried to get a lot of greasy stuff done. He was trying to get us out the paint altogether, sending us to Central America, sending us to Africa, sending us everywhere. He didn't even want us on the soil. But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that, Honest Abe. And I get it, because nobody wants to scar or mar his memory, because he's the one that freed the slaves. So let's leave it at that. He did nothing bad, said nothing bad, said nothing against. He freed the slaves, and let's leave it at that. No, 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 no. We can't do that. That's not what we can do. What we can do is we can tell the truth. And if we tell the truth, what? The truth will set us free. And if it was just that easy, the millions upon millions of black people that have said that in churches up to this date, we should be free. But we're not free. We are still held captive by ridiculous restraints here in this country. Next slide. I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes. There's not anybody else here. So when we start talking about things that have happened to other people on this soil, if Abe Lincoln didn't say it, then he must have not been talking about nobody else but, because he's very matter of fact here. I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes. He didn't say Negroes, Latinos, Asians, Palestinians, Arabs, Chaldeans. He didn't say none of that. He said Negroes. And I've tried to make it simple and make it plain to many of people. Back then, all them people weren't here anyway. Where they have come to this country and when they've come to this country has really mattered. So when people start talking about reparative justice, reparations, they start to throw in other people. And I can't say that other people have not experienced detrimental things on this soil. That's America. You come here, you gonna get yours. I get it. But at this point, in the 1800s, we're talking solely about the American Negro. I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office. I just said he didn't want us to be a part of the political process. He didn't want us to be politicians, nor intermarry with white people. So when we talk about segregation, when we talk about Jim Crow, when we talk about you over here, I'm over here, this, that, and the other, it didn't start after slavery was over. It didn't start in the South with Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and whatnot. No, we're talking in the 1800s. And there's a lot of people that either act like they don't know that or they just don't know that. They don't know this Abraham Lincoln. I get it. They don't know this Abraham Lincoln. And for the most part, I can't condemn them for not knowing this Abraham Lincoln. I'm never going to condemn anybody for not knowing their history, because it's taken me all the way to my life, through my life, excuse me, for me to know Abraham Lincoln. Okay. It's taken me a long time to really understand some of the things that he did. Appreciate the likes wherever they're coming from. Appreciate those. Please share the video if you will. Never going to have the most compelling topics for people to share. They're not warm and fuzzy. And today's no different. It's just speaking on some truth. If we're going to speak, we're going to speak truthfully. Okay. We're going to speak truthfully. We're going to speak facts. And I appreciate that, Free. Thank you. So he was very concrete in his beliefs, and I get it. But the thing is, what's been spoken about Abe over all these years, it's always been that he was really for us because of the Emancipation Proclamation. The Emancipation Proclamation was a piece of legislation that freed enslaved people. It was not supposed to equal us. It was not supposed to level the playing field. And it did not. It absolutely did not. So where we are now, we're in a situation where the next slide, it says, and I will say in addition to this, there is physical differences between white and black races. Really? Which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. This is Abe Lincoln saying this. This is the person who so-called freed the slaves. But see, he didn't free the slave construct, because that right there, by saying that we would never, ever be able to live together, you're putting us in the same state that we're in when we're living and enslaved on plantations. By Abe Lincoln believing that there was a physical difference between the white and black races. And when they talk physical differences, we obviously know physically black people and white people are not built the same. We don't need to go through any type of genealogy. We don't need to break down physical structures, but we are not the same people. We get that. But when they talked about this, they were always speaking from a neurological standpoint. They were always speaking about we were not as smart as white people. That's what this whole construct was about, that we were inept. We were incapable of being equal to white people. Therefore, we would be forbid from living together equally on a social and political level. And that's so crazy. And as I've stated in many of my clips, at one time, we were the only skilled tradesmen on this soil. Nobody else had to have a skilled trade, simply because we were enslaved. We did the work. Nobody aspired to do the same work we did. Why would you try to have the same job we had when you were putting us to work for free? So at one time on this soil, being the only skilled tradespeople, how could he actually have said there were physical differences between us, other than the fact, yes, we have one race that does shit and the other race that doesn't. And physically, we know we were dominant, but he wasn't talking about that. He wasn't talking about that, because we've never been given the propers for our intelligence. And this is why I don't like dealing with stupid people. I've said that many a times. I don't like stupid people. Ignorance I can deal with, because I can take an ignorant person and give them some intel and straighten them out. I can give them that 180 intel and send them on the way. It's stupid people that I have to give 360 intel to, because that's the way they retrieve it, receive it, and deal with it. That's what happens. Stupid people spin around and be in the same place after you give them the information. But a person that's ignorant, you can give them that intel and they'll make that 180 switch and they'll go about and do their thing. Sister Monica, how you doing today? Black Seed, the child of life. Good morning to you, brother. I'm looking for where Abe Lincoln to say what he really wanted to say here. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. He has said the same thing throughout these first few slides. He said the same thing, and he said it full-throated. He meant it. Socially and politically, we were not going to be equals. That's what he said. That's what he meant. That's what America did. Because we know Abe didn't last too long after he did his thing with the Emancipation Proclamation. He got deleted. So he didn't last too long. So he really didn't get to put in place what he wanted to put in place anyway. He wanted to get us out the pain. He wanted us to go to Central America. He wanted us to go to Africa. We get all that. But that didn't happen. But we also did what we needed to do to survive on this soil. Because even after the freeing of enslaved people, it didn't come easy. And he knew that. He knew it wasn't going to be easy. And he knew because of all the work that there was going to need to be done, it'd be better off that we would just get up out of here. So we go to the next slide. While they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. Now, see, a lot of people, when they hear me talk about white supremacy, this is where I go to. There is a supposed positioning of superiority and a supposed position of inferiority. And that didn't just start with these last few presidents. That didn't just start in these last 30, 40, 50 years. Abe Lincoln said this, y'all. Honest Abe. Unapologetic Honest Abe. It just ain't in my mind. In my mind. But my thing is this. He said, while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And as much as any other man, I am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. Now, did he flip a coin? You know, did they do rock, paper, scissors? How did Abe come to that? While they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. I almost said the black race, but boy, I could have caused a stir there. They might have cut my stream off. This was set so long ago. This is why they want to say sometimes slavery was so long ago. Well, you know what? So are these comments by Abraham Lincoln. And a lot of y'all forgot them comments by Abraham Lincoln, but I haven't. Hell, I just learned of them, and that's why we're talking about them today. And because it's Abe Lincoln's birthday tomorrow, so I want to make sure that we commemorate his birthday as well as we can as American freedmen. Abe Lincoln put it in play for the white race to be the superior race, the white race to be the dominant race. Abe Lincoln. Now, them other first 15 presidents, they did their due diligence with it too. And of course, the person that came right after Abe Lincoln, he did a lot of detrimental shit. But Abe Lincoln himself said this: if we gonna be right, we gonna be white. Why don't people understand that? Because American history ain't taught us that. They only taught us what we know about Abe Lincoln. This is what American politics has really taught us, what we know about Abe Lincoln. This is what they've taught us. This is what most people know about Abe Lincoln. Yeah. This is what most people know about Abe Lincoln. Abe on the money. Abe on the money. That's what most people know. And they're only going to start and stop with Abe on the money. They ain't going to get into this. This right here too difficult to deal with. And while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior, and I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. Yeah, that's where we at. That's where we at with Abe, man. Seriously. I mean, and I can't say that other people didn't think this way, but we got Abe on record to have said it. See, a lot of people didn't say it publicly. They said it privately, but they didn't say it publicly. Abe was full-throated. It was his.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
Yeah. Okay. That's where it was. Brother Fairness, how you doing this morning? So as we look at this last slide, because it really kind of summed up the whole commentary, because this is really kind of taken all out of the same text. I do not understand the belief that because I do not want a Negro woman for a slave, I must necessarily want her for a wife. I don't know what was on Abe's mind here. This is what he closed it out with. I took everything in succession. This is the way it was given to me, so I took it in succession. I do not understand the belief that because I do not want a Negro woman for a slave, I must necessarily want her for a wife. What was Abe thinking? What was Abe thinking here? You trying to tell me that Abe went to his grave and he never got with a sister? Sorry. I find that hard to believe. You might have not wanted her for a wife, Abe, but I think you had your way with a few enslaved individuals over the years. Yeah, I'm being totally accusatory, because how many white men didn't back then? How many of them didn't? I'm being totally accusatory. I'm not claiming this to be fact, because I don't know it exactly to be fact, but I have a hard time believing he was the 16th president. He was the 16th. And you can't tell me that the women that were on those plantations at some point didn't come under Abe's thumb. Yeah, we've had that debate, Brother Fearless. We've had that debate. He was black. I've heard that before. You know, Abe Lincoln was black, or he was half black. I've heard the term more so. Yeah, just like you stated it. He was colored. He was colored. So if he was, let's just go right off the rail with the comment. Let's just say that Abe was black. Let's just say that Abe was black. Abe knew he had some of us in him. How sick is this then? How sick is it that if he is part us, he's got some of us, that one drop rule. We got that one drop rule. How sick of it for him to make these statements. See, people put that comment out there, but you got to understand, if you punch me, I'm going to counter back. And I ain't never been able to have nobody. I've heard people say, well, you know, he was part black. Really? Okay. And he was doing this, trying to ship us off to Central America, trying to ship us off to Africa after we built this damn place for free? Honest Abe was unapologetic Honest Abe. And he set up the social construct of white supremacy way back then. You know, because people will say, well, slavery was legal. when that argument comes up, slavery was legal though, Shannon. Yeah, I know. I get it. And in many of our states, marrying a kid 16 and a few years under is legal too. Don't mean we should do it. So when people hit me with that, I trip out about that. Slavery was legal. It was the law of the land. Yeah. As fucked up as a law as it was. Don't tell me about an immoral construct just because it was legal. That doesn't matter to me. We've got the 16th president on record saying that we were inferior. Peace, Riri. He said we were inferior. And what you said, Fearless, it's the most asinine comment that people can make. Well, they say he's part black. Okay, I get it. What part black was he? Was he this part black? Was he this part black? Because see, I can see a lot of things, a lot of similarities with black Americans in this picture right here. Abe could be like a light-skinned dude. I see a lot of brothers with them crazy hats on today. Was Abe leading y'all to this? Y'all got them wide brim hats or them high top hats like this. Y'all be wearing all them crazy hats. Was this what y'all talking about? This is to let y'all know that Abe was black? Or how about that beard? A lot of y'all growing them beards out nowadays. And y'all need to scrub them things. I be next to people sometimes and got them big beards. Y'all not washing them beards. I can smell you through my mask. Wash y'all beard. They got like beard treatments and stuff. They got beard treatments. You got all that hair on your face. You supposed to wash that beard just like you wash the hair on your head. Put in the work. You gonna grow that thing out? Even if you got a struggle beard and you trying to grow it out, wash it. You need to wash that just like you wash the rest of your body. Or are you not washing the rest of your body? I mean, what makes people really think that Abe was black? Has anybody really gone through his gene pool and say that, this was the black person? This was the black person in his family. I ain't never heard about it. I ain't never seen nobody even step up. All the Lincolns that I know that are black, ain't none of them ever said, Abe Lincoln's my great uncle. None of them. Absolutely none of them. I'd love to find the black people that were related to Abe Lincoln, or they need to shut the hell up about that. That's a myth. That's an American myth. So this is where I see Abe with black folks right here. He was in Illinois. Oh, so he was in Chi-Town? Hey, anything could happen in Chi-Town. Was Abe the original Gabe? Was Abe the original Gabe? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Abe might have been the original Gabe. Gabe he's been getting his name just dragged in Chicago. Yeah, I never got a chance to. It looked like everybody interviewed Gabe but me. So I never got a chance to interview Gabe. Once I saw everybody was interviewed, I was like, it became something like, I don't want to be fashionable. I had some pertinent questions to ask because we really don't have aldermans here. So I wanted to ask him, in my area, we don't have aldermans, but we have commissioners. So maybe our commissioners work like the aldermans work, but Chicago's so big. I really wanted to know just what equates like an alderman, and I guess it would probably be a commissioner, not a city councilman, but because they have those. But I really want to know but because, like I said, once it gets watered down, I don't even want to do it no more. I don't like doing something just because other people doing it. Once I see everybody else doing it, they gonna water it down and make it look goofy anyway. So I'll leave it alone. And in some of them spaces that I saw Gabe getting interviewed, and I actually felt sorry for the brother because he's really trying to advocate for American freedmen, and he's being ridiculed for it because he's a white man. But I don't see nobody ridiculing Joe Biden the way they ridiculed Gabe. I don't see nobody ridiculing other white politicians the way they really ridiculed Gabe, only because it's Chicago. And the dude that he is running against didn't even know how to set up a Twitter account. Now, I'm sorry, you ain't got to be a social media expert. You ain't got to be a social media expert. But if you don't know how to set up a Twitter account, I don't need you in my politics, bro. You a little bit too antiquated for me. You got a rotary dial phone trying to get on Twitter. That's a problem. That's a problem. So, yeah, Joe don't like us. Joe already told you, you better get used to working with Latinos because there are about to be more of them than us. Because they keep them borders open long enough, they're gonna be equaling us. I don't know where they're gonna put them all. I know they can stack 10 deep in a house. They can stack 10 deep in a house unconsciously. But how long are they gonna do that for? But that's what they like to do. They like to stack them 10 deep in a house, and then they're just going to start reeling off naturalizations. I get it. I get what they're doing. That's why we got to hold on our square with our local politics. And obviously, every 4 years, we beat up on them national politics. But too many people out here doing other things, thinking about other things. They talking right, but they ain't acting right. And I get it. That's why I got to get back in my lane. I gotta get focused. I was telling Rachel today, I done put so much time focusing on other people's movements, focusing on other people's situations. I got to get back to my hell. And where I did this in the middle of an argument with her, but I had to tell her, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at with this whole thing. Because I didn't start doing this, like I said, for celebrity. This has nothing to do with celebrity. It ain't nothing to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do me. And when I do me and I put my thing together, I'll put me against anybody. I have no problem with it. It's just that I've been carrying the water for others and ain't nobody threw me a squig. You know, when you be running them marathons and stuff, and you just grabbed a cup of water and keep on running. You don't even drink it at the store. Ain't nobody threw me a cup. But I'm good with that. Because I'd rather not have you fake support me and not really be supporting me. I'd rather you just be neglecting. Be neglecting, please. So I know who you are, so I can walk away from you. Just like Abe walked away from us, because he started here. President Lincoln said, without the military help of the black freedmen, the war against the South could not have been won. Yeah. And then he ended up here. While they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior, and as much as any other man in favor of having a superior position assigned to the white race. To the white race. Hey, man, I get it. Abe had his convictions, and his convictions were unapologetic. That's why I got to give him the new title. He's not only honest, Abe, he was unapologetic, Abe. He was unapologetic, Abe. I get it. I totally get it. That's a good sign. If y'all heard that in the background, that's a good sign. It means the ground is thawing out and the sump pump is working. That's a good sign. So I excuse y'all. That wasn't me. That was the sump pump, if y'all heard that off the line.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
But I need to shift a gear real quick. And let me make sure that I've got this, because I'm a little bit upset. Actually, I'm a lot upset on this one. I ain't gonna lie, man. I mean, come on. Where we are in 2023, we still shouldn't be here. But we're here. I get it. We're here. I get it. But we can't stay here. Okay? We can't stay here. But because of what has taken place, over these last several years, I must say that we've allowed some things to happen. Let me go in and get this downloaded. We've allowed some things to happen that shouldn't have happened in our school systems. And when they do happen, we don't do right by our children. We just kind of let things happen. And when that happens, that bothers me more than anything. That really bothers me more than anything. So I want to bring this situation together. I'm just kind of talking real slow. So I'm getting the image up. Okay. So let me get this one downloaded. And then I've got, that didn't take. Oh, no wonder it didn't take. And then I'm going to bring up the video. I actually got a video on this because I felt like I needed some live action on this. Just really kind of pissed off. When I saw it, I was like, whoa, what's up with that? And I'm going to download this one so we can actually have the quote from him. This individual is the superintendent of a school system here in Michigan. And what he's got in play, I'm just going to put his words, get him out of there. What he's got in play is budding white supremacy in his school. I can't say actually budding. I think it's white supremacy. What they're doing is they're breeding little race soldiers. Okay. They're breeding little race soldiers by doing goofy shit that we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot over these last many years, 400 plus. Okay. So we do understand some things. And where I believe this guy got all this, one quick second. Oh, you know what? Let's just do it that way. Where he got this idea, truthfully, I believe he got this idea from someone at another school system. Okay. He got it from another school system. He also took the stereotyping from historical white supremacist activity and put it in play. Now, obviously, we know we sit in the midst of Black History Month, Freedmen History Month, okay? And with that being said, as we sit in the midst of Black History Month, Freedmen History Month, we know we're going to incur some goofy shit. Clown shit. Seriously. I get it. I know it's coming every year. I absolutely do. I know it's coming. So I prepare myself for it mentally. I don't even get mad at a lot of the stuff anymore, just based on what comes up. And what comes up a lot of times is them trying to say that they're trying to show some support into our historical month. That's why I don't like some of the things that they put in play with Black history when they allow other people other than Black Americans to be celebrated. I'm not saying that people from the diaspora, which side of the coin you're on, I don't say that they shouldn't be celebrated, but this is Black American History Month. It's not Pan-African history. It's Black American history. It's not Pan-African American history. It's Black American. So I just say American Freedmen History Month or Freedmen History Month. That's what works for me. But This individual here, Tom DeJong, is the superintendent of a school system in Grand Rapids, I believe. So we're going to look at his demonic self for a minute because he just put out a statement based on something that they did. But I want y'all to actually see what they did first, and then we'll read his statement, because you know they always apologize. Once they do some shit to us, they always come back and apologize like they was ignorant to the fact of what goes on in this world and what has been going on in this world for the last 400, 500 years, right? This is a scenario of I'm white and I say so. Oh, I'm sorry. Nah, it's not going to work anymore. Not with me. And hopefully it's not going to work with anybody else. Personally, hopefully it's not going to work with anybody else. But let me get this screen share up so I can make sure that we are where we are with this. Okay, I think that's it. Bam, got it. Okay. Think that's it. Yes. All right. So we got that. So yeah, we're going to share this screen. And this was Grand Rapids Christian High School apologizes for Black History Month lunch. Black History Month lunch. They always got to apologize after they do something that they know is wrong. They know this is wrong. So let me just give you the whole screen with it, and we'll cook on it. I'm going to put my phones on so I can make sure I can hear the audio just as well.
Grand Rapids Christian Schools is apologizing for a school lunch today meant to honor Black History Month.
Instead, it's prompting complaints from students saying it did the exact opposite.
News 8's Byron Tollefson joins us now with what happened. Byron.
Brian and Sue, in response to student complaints, the school actually changed the name of today's lunch theme and apologized.
In its original lunch menu posted online, Grand Rapids Christian High School planned on having what it called a Black History Month lunch today, serving fried chicken, collard greens, mac and cheese, cornbread, and banana pudding. After students complained, some feeling it was racist, the school started calling it a soul food lunch instead. Superintendent Tom DeYoung apologized in a letter to parents, stating that the school district has a responsibility to celebrate a variety of cultures, so they wanted to serve, quote, an authentic soul food lunch. In a statement to News 8, the superintendent says, we, quote, recognize that the initial publication of the meal had a negative impact on our community, and for this, we are sorry. As a staff, we humbly commit to continuing to learn and grow in this area as we seek to produce culturally competent students who are prepared for lives of service to Christ. The superintendent goes on to say, quote, we are committed to continuing to meet with and listen to our staff and students as we seek to build and further strengthen an environment that is welcoming to all.
The superintendent says they want to acknowledge and uplift the voices of students for expressing their concerns.
That's what he said. That's what he said. I mean, they did this for us. This is one of those DEI things, I guess. They wanted to make sure we felt included by giving us some fried chicken for Black History Month, some macaroni and cheese for Black History Month. This was what they needed to do to make us feel at home at Grand Rapids Christian High School. Grand Rapids Christian High School. Grand Rapids Christian High School. When I think of Christians, I don't think of this type of thing. But then again, I do. Who told them that the kids at Grand Rapids Christian High School wanted fried chicken? Did they do a vote? Did they do a vote on a menu item and came out with fried chicken as the winner for the main entree, macaroni and cheese? I mean, this here continues to happen throughout the country, and this ain't in Florida. This ain't in Georgia. This ain't in Alabama. This ain't in Mississippi. This ain't in Louisiana. This ain't in Texas. Grand Rapids, Michigan, right here. My village, the Mitten. If we don't figure this out before long, we'll just hear about these things every week. We always hear about them in Black History Month times. Then they starting to do a little stuff in June, right around Juneteenth. And they're always going to do different things. Whenever we're supposed to be saluting ours, they're going to figure out a way to kick us. Sister Fatex, good afternoon to you. Oh, yes, we understand it. We get it. But when he made the statement, come on now, Tom, we recognize that the initial publication of the meal had a negative impact on our community. Really? But y'all didn't run this by anybody Black before y'all decided to do it. Y'all just put it up. See, that's what I don't really understand. How do they always put things up to have to apologize? Why don't they just run things by a few Black folks and let a few Black folks figure out whether they want to have chicken or not that day? Whether they want it called a Black History Month meal, whether they want it called a soul food meal. Because, see, I know a lot of white folks eat fried chicken. I know a lot of white folks that eat fried chicken. And none of them call it soul food. I know a lot of white folks that eat macaroni and cheese, and none of them call it soul food. And for this, we are sorry. Nah, nigga, you were sorry before you did that. You were sorry before you did that with the menu, Tom. As a staff, we humbly commit to continuing to learn and grow in this area as we seek to produce a culturally competent students who are prepared for lives of service to Christ. What? So in order to serve Christ, you got to be able to serve fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, soul food. You can't serve Christ if you can't serve this chicken. I don't see nothing in the Bible about fried chicken. Ain't nothing in the Bible about shaking bacon. Where does all of this come from? Where does all of this come from? While they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. I bet you Tom likes Abe Lincoln. I bet you Abe is one of Tom's favorite people. He gonna tell you because Abe freed the slaves. Nah, dog, that ain't why you like Abe. You like Abe because Abe felt there had to be proper positioning, superior and inferior. And as much as Abe wanted it, the same way you want it too, Tom, and you are in favor of the superior position being assigned to the whites. Yeah. I bet you Tom loves having the whites be superior. And you can't serve Christ if you ain't serving chicken at Grand Rapids Christian High School. This is who they are. This is who they are always going to be. And I'm not saying they're all white supremacists, but there's a pretty good number of them. And they're in positions of power. They're in positions of power. We not only need black teachers, we need black principals. We need black school board members. We need black school superintendents. That's what we need. Because if we get that, we'll get less of Toms and we'll get less of these lame ass apologies. I'm not saying cut back on the fried chicken. I know I don't eat it personally anymore, but I get it. I know a lot of folks that eat fried chicken that don't look like me. But they don't go around posting it on Facebook. Woo, Lord, that fried chicken that I had yesterday. Yeah, okay. And serving fried chicken will make people culturally competent for lives of service to Christ. Get the fuck out of here, Tom. Thank you. That's where we're at. That's where we're at on that. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this one short. I ain't cutting it short. I did everything I was supposed to do. I handled all my business. We talked about unapologetic honest Abe. Unapologetic honest Abe. This picture, everybody knows this picture. Everybody knows this picture. Many people know this quote. But there's going to be a lot of people that didn't know this. There's going to be a lot of people that didn't know this. Abe did not only not want y'all here, he just felt like he would assign the superior positioning to white people. And I know. It was the time, Shannon. It was the way things were. You know, slavery was legal. I'd rather y'all just tell me that Abe was black. It is what it is. But where I'm at this point, I'm not upset about Abe Lincoln. I'm not upset about his assessments. I'm not upset that so many people are going to say, that was so long ago. What makes me upset is that things like this are still going on. But had it not been for things like this, we wouldn't still be elevating things like this so they can say things like this. I appreciate y'all supporting Freedman Media. Everything went according to plan in my mind. But for some people, I should be able to do better. I should be able to be more thorough. I should probably be more educated on things, but I got what I got, and I'm going to use what I use to the best of my capabilities. And anybody that needs to give me some more intel, shoot me a call. I'm always open for suggestions on education. But what I'm not going to do is play second fiddle to anybody, especially in this space. I'm a content creator. I create content. I don't rebroadcast the news. I create content. And I'm pretty damn good at it. I just really kind of came to the conclusion I'm pretty damn good at it. So what I'm going to do at this point is keep doing what I do and keep getting better at it. And I think things are going to work themselves out nicely. If you will share the video, that's beautiful. If you will like the video, that's beautiful. If you stayed all 76 minutes, that's even better. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be good. I'll be back up sooner than you know. I never profess anymore when I'm going to come back up because I don't know what's going to hit me in my path where I might have to be down for a day, 2 days, 3 days. But I've also figured out that the relationship is going to be best suited for TikTok. Talk to somebody about it. So I'm going to start doing some of the relationship stuff on TikTok and pushing the content to the relationship page and building it that way. Still got to talk about relationships. It's just a different way that I'll have to be able to talk about it. And I'll be talking more about these missing children. Some more that I posted today from back in September, October, November, December, even up to recent as January. We got to find these babies, y'all. We got to find them. We have no choice. But I appreciate y'all, and y'all be good. We'll talk soon. Soon enough.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man. You're a worm. You're afraid of us. You're afraid to give us equal